So Anthony Joshua's made it clear he's got his eyes set on fighting Tyson Fury this year, in both interviews and also on his own social media. I know what you're thinking. What's he talking about? Tyson Fury is retiring.
Hi everybody, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'd like to announce my retirement from boxing. It's been a blast. I've loved every single minute of it, and I'm going to end with this. Dick Turpin wore a mask. God bless everybody. See you on the other side. Get up!
But come on, it's Tyson we're talking about. He says one thing and does another. He says he's going to retire, then the next thing, huge announcement, Tyson Fury's coming out of retirement. It's all part of his plan to make the fight even bigger. Tyson knows exactly what he's doing. He's done this many times before. He's convinced the boxing world that he's the best in the business, while also avoiding everyone. I mean, you've got to give him credit. He's a great businessman. Right now he's just sulking because he got beat off Usyk twice, claiming he got robbed. I mean, the guy's just so deluded. I mean, he got beat off greatness, that's it. Olympic gold medalist, unified cruiserweight champion, unified heavyweight champion. There's no shame in losing to Usyk. It's that simple. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel grow. I just keep hoping that Tyson will redeem himself and give Alexander Usyk the credit. All he needs to say is I was beaten by the better man, a great champion. I won't hold my breath, but that's what he needs to do. He'd get so much more respect and credit if he did. And like I said right now, Tyson's too busy sulking, but when he remembers how much money he can make, I'm sure then he'll be ready to make the fight happen. And for that, we've got to thank the main man, Turki Al-Sheikh, for making the big fights happen, basically forcing the best to fight the best. We now know who's who and who's the top dog, and in the heavyweight division, that's Alexander Usyk. I do believe the fight will happen between AJ and Tyson. It's just a matter of time, and it is overdue, but some people say it's too late. People just love to be critical, but I can guarantee the same people will tune in, and I can guarantee also they'll sell out the O2. The fact that people can't stop talking about it says everything. We can't turn the clock back, so let's just hope it happens and get excited about it. I seen Carl Froch's interview with Turki, and Turki doesn't do many sit-down interviews, and like I say, he's the reason we get to see the big fights, so I watched it straight away. And Turki had said one of the fights he wants to make this year is AJ versus Tyson, and when Turki says it, it'll happen, because Turki's a real boxing fan, and when he wants a fight, and when he opens that checkbook, magic just seems to happen, miracles happen. And by the way, make sure to check out Carl's channel, Froch on Fighting, because it's a great channel, and he's doing some great interviews at the minute, and he's also going to be working for Riyadh Season Boxing moving forward, which I think's great, because Carl Froch was a great fighter, and I don't think the fans talk about him enough. He held multiple world titles, he's a Hall of Famer, and he fought the best of his era. Great fighter. And I was lucky enough to train alongside him when I was on the Great Britain squad, because his trainer, Rob McCracken, was also head of GB. I did also get the pleasure to spar with him. Great experience, but daunting at the same time. Being a young amateur, getting a spar world champion, great experience, but like I say, nerve-wracking at the time. I can remember Carl training for George Groves the second time, because the first time he didn't take him seriously, because I think Carl had sparred Groves years beforehand and basically dominated him, and I think he'd even put him over with big 16-ounce gloves, so I think Carl thought this is going to be an easy fight. And anyway, like I say, the second time he took it seriously, and he famously knocked out George Groves in front of 80,000 people at Wembley. And if you do watch his channel, you know he's not shy in mentioning it. In Carl's interview, Turki was talking about the plans for this year, and believe me, he's got no plans on slowing down. There's so much more to come, which was great to hear and music to my ears, and I'm sure it was for all of the boxing fans. What he's done in just 14 months is incredible. He's literally changed the game. He's delivered on all the fights we want to see. It's absolute madness, but I'm so grateful that he's involved in boxing. In that time, we've had the 5 versus 5, Queensberry versus Matchroom, Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn. We've had 2 undisputed fights. I mean, we've got a great card coming up in February. It's mind-blowing. Let's not forget, it also led to me get an opportunity to commentate live on the Pain Game, thanks to my brother, True Geordie. I mean, extremely grateful. I mean, What a time to be alive. When you take a look at the past and people said certain fights going in were too late, for example, Lennox Lewis versus Tyson, those same people still tuned in. I think most of the time, people are just happy that the fight took place, even if the fighters weren't in the prime. And in the case of Lennox and Tyson, Tyson was definitely way past his best. At least in the case of AJ and Tyson Fury, both guys at the same stage in the career. And believe me when I say, if Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson had never fought, they'd still be talking about the fight not happening now. Even at this stage in the career, both Joshua and Fury are still two of the top guys. But that's the problem with this era. Because of Floyd Mayweather making the all everything, which it isn't, a fighter loses and he's finished. But it's not the case. You know, one loss doesn't define your career. If you look at football, for instance, you don't lose a game and then the team's finished, retire. You know, it's crazy. Both guys are coming off losses. They both lost to Usyk twice. Tyson got battered in the first fight against Usyk, and AJ's just coming off the back of a bad KO against Daniel Dubois. Let's face it, both guys are past the best. I definitely would be rooting for AJ because we came through the amateurs the same time. 2009, we both boxed in the ABAs. And if you've seen my last video, Liam Cameron also boxed in the 2009 ABAs. So make sure to go and check that video out. To be honest, AJ is one of the nicest guys I've met. And as an athlete, one of the most naturally gifted. I've watched many rounds of him sparring. I've even been in there with him, only doing technical spar because of the weight difference. But on his day, he's a very hard man to beat. It would be hard to say between AJ and Fury who's the more naturally gifted fighter. But when it comes to IQ, I'd have to give it to Fury. He's very intelligent and very adaptable. And the way he moves for a big guy is incredible. You shouldn't be able to. It's crazy. And this is what frustrates me about Tyson. I do think he's a great fighter, but unfortunately, he's his own biggest downfall. He could have been so much better, but his inactivity has killed his own career. And when I say killed his career, of course, he's had a great career, but I think it could have been so much better. I don't think he's reached his full potential, which I think is sad. And I do say this as a compliment because so many people would love to have his talent. It's a gift. There's no way Tyson would have fought Usyk if Turkey hadn't came along and basically forced his hand. He would have been having a fourth fight with Derek Chisora. And last time, when he was meant to fight AJ, he put a time limit on AJ to sign the contract.
You've had the contract 10 days now, bitch. Still ain't signed it. If it's not done by 5 o'clock today, GK's moving on.
He knows what he's doing. He knows these things take time, but that was his way of getting out of it. When he came back to boxing, after the weight gain, the depression, and not to forget, the failed drug test, I think he's seen Deontay Wilder, who was the world champion, who had power, but as a boxer was very limited. And he thought to himself, stylistically, that's a fight I can win. Because you know Tyson Fury only likes fights he thinks he can win. Because you know he ran from the fight with Klitschko, the rematch. How can I put it? Because I know people are going to say I'm a Tyson Fury hater, but that's not the case. I respect all fighters because I know firsthand how hard it is and what it takes to be a fighter. But I do think Tyson Fury has avoided a lot of fighters and he likes to cherry pick his opponents. The simple fact is, here on YouTube, I like to tell the hard truths. And I also like to give credit where it's due. That's it. I'm repeating myself here because I do think that Tyson is a great fighter. And I believe he could compete in any era. The problem he's had, he hasn't remained disciplined. Unlike AJ, who's been a student of the game and been extremely disciplined. I just believe that AJ has made the most of the tools he's been given. He might not be as naturally gifted as Fury, but he's stuck to the grind, and that's why he's reached the heights he has. The problem AJ's got is self-confidence, especially after the devastating KO to Daniel Dubois. We know he puts the work in, we know he's disciplined, but after a KO like that, I'm just not sure. I don't doubt his heart, because he showed it against Daniel. He got put down multiple times and kept getting back up, and he actually got knocked out because he was going for the kill himself. But I just feel ever since he fought Andy Ruiz the first time and he got knocked out then, he's never quite been the same. I feel as if he's always been a little bit gun shy. He's been on a rebuild. And yes, he's improved in many areas, but I think he lost that real killer instinct. I don't think he ever fully got it back. I also think that Fury has lost some of his killer instinct, because after the first beating he got in the first fight against Usyk, I don't think in the second fight he was quite the same. He wasn't willing to risk it all. And I do think AJ's always had his sights set on Tyson, ever since the sparred all those years ago. I think whatever went down, AJ took something from it and really believes that he can beat Tyson. In fairness to Tyson at the time, he did say that AJ had given him hell. I think Tyson was a pro and AJ was an amateur, and I think he had said that one day AJ will become a champion. When I think about it, it's kind of the same situation as AJ and Daniel Dubois. AJ was above Daniel and never really thought the fight would happen, whereas Daniel always probably had his sights set on AJ, and that alone brings a different type of hunger and confidence, especially after Daniel lost to Joe Joyce and then to Usyk. I don't think AJ ever thought the fight could happen. I think he was off his radar. So I think all these years AJ's been studying Tyson Fury, and I think that's the main reason why AJ chose Ben Davison, because who better than the man that knows Tyson inside and out? It's all about timing, and right now Tyson needs time to regroup and remember how much money he can make if he takes the fight. But I do think eventually the fight will happen. Before I end the video, I know Tyson is retired, but I don't believe it. In my opinion, if the fight doesn't happen, it's because of Fury. He's worried about his legacy, and if he gets beat off Usyk twice and AJ, he knows they'll be ruined. Let me know what you think about Tyson's so-called retirement, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.